me just put it this way. On my list of regrets that I have for why I picked the Brooklyn Nets to win the East, this is way down the list. All right, I'm not worried about Jacque Vaughn being the coach. Right now, no, I don't want your olive branch.
They can't even hire the coach right.
I do not want your olive branch. All right?
It's right here.
I will
can't
say
even
this.
get the coach right.
I don't have a pick yet. I mean, everybody, Brooklyn, Kyrie's out, the coach is gone. I don't even think I need an olive branch to be like, that's not happening. I think it's just
right, but you haven't. But you refuse to do that. But that's fine.
But anyway, here's the thing. Remember, a decade ago, Jacque Vaughn was like the new hotness, right? He was in San Antonio with Popovich. Yep. He was going to be the next great coach.
And then people
that
saw
Orlando, but that Orlando team, it was the year Dwight Howard left or after he left. So it was young. Look, I'm not saying the guy's going to do a great job. I'm just saying the number one goal for the Nets right now is not necessarily the whole season, but right now
is to stop
embarrassing
embarrassing
themselves. Become more of a basketball franchise than a soap opera.
I agree with you.
And Ime Udoka, maybe you hire him next year because I think he'll be a great coach again for the Nets. But next year you can hire him. But right now,
so Jacque Vaughn's contract is through 2024.
Right, but they can fire him. As Bruce
point, it goes bad.
They can plan to fire him, which it would obviously will go bad, and not because
really. Definitely will go bad.
Well, I mean, if the Nets still think they're contenders, they're not, and so that it will go bad. Listen, I don't know if Jacque's going to do a good job here or not. He did a good job coaching them in the bubble. Katie and Kyrie were on that team. They weren't playing, but they were on the team. They could have advocated that he keep the job. Instead, they advocated for Steve Nash to get the job, and then it seemed like there was maybe some excitement about Udoka getting the job, and now it's Jacque Vaughn's job. Jacque Vaughn, in his career, though, of guys who have coached 200 games, has the 4th worst record ever. It's Sidney Lowe, Tim Floyd, who took over for the Bulls after Jordan retired, Pippen left,
Great
Phil
career
left,
at Iowa State.
and Kurt Rambis, who parlayed that into running the Los Angeles Lakers,
one of your
which
favorite
is just
guys.
nice for everyone involved. Here's my question, Wildes.
Yeah.
How are the Nets so bad at everything?
They don't.
How can you not only let it leak, but seemingly intentionally leak? That you are hiring a polarizing, let's call it that, head coach in Ime Udoka and deal with all the backlash of that without making sure you can hire him. How do this is cartoonish, and that's an insult to cartoons. Like how do you let it leak? Seemingly strategically leak it within hours after that Nash is fired, that you're going to hire this guy, and then let it fester for a week as a sub-controversy to your steaming, flaming pile controversy, and then be like, we'll just go with the interim guy. In fact, we'll give him a 2-year deal. And I got one other question that I want to run by you. Is it on the board that one of the reasons they fired Nash when they did was because they were like, we can get Ime Udoka? If they knew they couldn't get Ime Udoka or they weren't going to, would they have? Were they rushing to make Jacque Vaughn the head coach? Or would they? It's just, I'm not saying Jacque won't do a good job.
Nash was the right move, regardless.
I agree with you on that, but that's what I thought. That's what you thought. I'm saying within the Nets organization, they decided to weather the storm with Nash when Kevin Durant asked them to fire him and said he wanted to be traded. They then gave it 7 games, seemingly because they thought they were going to hire Udoka, and now they're hiring a guy who's been the interim before Nash was there.
I mean, it makes 0 sense. And Mark Stein reported that strong voices within the league said, hey, don't do this. Yeah. Like, you guys can't run your own franchise, so let us step in and give you some strongly worded advice. Don't do
Good
this.
advice from the league.
Well, yeah, but it's also advice that pretty much anybody could have given them. Anyone could see, like, hey, one team suspended their coach. Don't hire him after a week. Just let's use our heads. Here's my thing, Brew. This has been a consistent pattern of not quite knowing which direction to go in. I'll just run you through the litany of things. Kyrie can't play until he's vaccinated. You know what? Kyrie can play. We changed our mind. We want Harden. Harden's the answer. You know what? We don't want Harden. You know who we want?
Well, he forced them. He forced them.
Yeah, but now we have Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons going to help us in the playoffs. Wrong? Ben Simmons has a debilitating back injury. We got to get him. We're not firing Steve Nash. We are going to fire Steve Nash. We saw enough after 7 games. And now we're going to Udoka's going to be our coach. Nope, we're not. According to Sean Marks here, and I can't make this up, and he makes it so easy for us. So easy. Here's what Sean Marks said. Jacque's basketball acumen, competitiveness, and intimate knowledge of our team and organization make him the clear-cut best person to lead our group moving forward. Clear-cut, bro. All that Ime Udoka stuff, I don't know where that came from. He's clearly cut. He's also been with the organization for 6 years. So if it was clear cut, there was no reason for any rumor to be out there whatsoever.
No, you're right. Look, what this tells you, how is Sean Marks still there?
Oh,
because
gosh,
all that you guys have
started.
said, the guy that's been running the whole thing is Sean Marks. And look, I think even you guys would agree with this. If Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, 4 years ago, tell you we're coming to your team, does someone reject it? Right.
No.
And so they didn't go there because of Sean Marks. They went there because they just wanted to go wherever they wanted, and he had to accept it. And ever since then, they've been running the show. Last year, they did go about kind of retaking control of the franchise, not trading Durant, not giving in to Kyrie's contract demands this summer, and then getting rid of Nash now. We're going to talk about, I think, what the next step is, and then maybe they're running a real franchise.
A story in the Post today that Kyrie was openly defying Steve Nash in one game. A scout said he saw them, freestyle on some plays, lightly sourced.
And also, I don't think defying is the fair term because Kyrie and Nash were both the coach.
Good point.
So when one guy calls a play and the other guy doesn't, they're both the coach. It's just kind of, it's like the
Battle of New York tonight. Knicks go to Barclays.
Yeah,
You'll be there.
I'll be there, of course.
Do you think the Nets are better off without Kyrie?
All right, Brew, let's talk about this.
Yeah, let's.
I know this is your beloved team. And I know, even though you are not full-on hypnotized by Kyrie's skill the way some are,
Kevin Durant.
There's Kevin Durant. A lot of the media.
Right. It is a lot of the people. It is a lot of guys.
And by the way, our dear friend, who we both have immense respect for, Stephen A., flirted with picking Kyrie to win league MVP this year.
He did.
And I'm not taking any shots there. I'm saying a lot. So you're not hypnotized by his skill, but you occasionally daydream about it.
He can ball.
He can ball.
Am I wrong?
So every once
Look at that. Look at that.
There we
He
go.
can ball.
So every once in a while, can we please admit, and it is not because of 3 games, it is because of 3 years, that Kyrie Irving is not part of a winning basketball team when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets. Mm-hmm. It is not just the defense, but on the defensive note, before Kyrie's suspension, they had the number 30 defense in basketball. Yes, there are 30 teams. They were allowing 116 per game, and the fewest points they had allowed in a game was 105. In the 3 games without him, it is 86, 94, and 96. 92 points per game. That would be the best defense in
They
basketball.
locking cats up.
And they're 2-1, and we're a possession or 2 away from being 3-0 with a win over Luka. Mm-hmm. Are you willing to concede that for one reason or another, the Nets are better off without Kyrie Irving?
Not quite yet.
Now,
first, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If the Nets cut, because it sounds like you're suggesting they cut Kyrie.
Well, I think they could probably do something similar. I'm not advocating for the Russ for Kyrie trade, but a similar trade the Lakers were trying to do with Russ, which is trade a team that wants to get off some contracts because Kyrie's an expiring deal. And that team can then decide to either keep him or just buy him out.
Okay.
Because as an for whatever you could do with Russ, you could do with Kyrie.
Right.
They have different issues for different reasons. So I don't think you'd have to necessarily. But if the 3 doors are cut him, trade him for role players on mediocre or bad contracts to add depth, or keep it as is. I think keep it as is their worst option, assuming he's reinstated.
Obviously, ever since Kyrie made a horrible decision to demand a trade from LeBron, it's gone badly. All right. In Boston, started out well, right? 22-4, I think they started out really playing well. And then from there, he got hurt, and they ended up being better without him.
Yep.
Obviously, Brooklyn's been just a horrible situation. But here's what I would do if I were to run in the Nets. I'm watching us. They, like you said, the defense is much better. The offense looks better, too. More ball movement.
Yeah, they're
Everybody's
not scoring
involved.
as much,
But it looks
the eye test. It looks like a real team.
Yes,
it doesn't
yes.
look like just guys who came together and started playing.
And the
pickup.
spirit looks better.
100%.
The camaraderie. I mean, they just do. All right, everything looks better. What I would do if Kyrie ends up, we'll even be back in 5 games, 2 more games, right? If he takes care of everything he needs to and he's back, handles the press conference well. That's the first step, right? He's got to handle that press conference well. I'm watching everything. I'm watching the camaraderie, the ball movement, the defense. They're looking better without Kyrie. When he gets back, first of all, if I'm Jacque Vaughn, I coach him. And if you're not following the game plan, I'm pulling you out. I'm really coaching. I'm not like, oh, that's the superstar, let him do what he wants. Yeah. I'm pulling you out if you're not running the game plan, if you're not sharing the ball, whatever. All right? That's number one. And then if I see that our spirit goes south again, if we're performing terribly again, then I was thinking I'd cut him, but you make a great point. Let me see it, because I think he's virtually untradeable, but maybe a team looking to get off with money.
That Pacers deal might work for the Nets, too.
Maybe,
I mean, who knows?
I mean, so I would look at that, but I'm with you in that I would look at moving on from it. But I'll give him a shot first, because I've invested so much money into him, and I'm paying him $37 million right now, so I would give it one more shot.
Okay, one more shot. Knicks Nets tonight. You'll be there rooting for who?
What? Rooting for who? I don't listen.
Rooting for disaster. That's what he's rooting for.
Okay.
But
He's
no, I'm
rooting for
really excited. To be
so
honest,
we can come
just
on
quickly,
here and have a good
I'm
show.
excited. I haven't seen Donovan Mitchell in. Oh, sorry.
You know what? That was unfair.
I'm sorry.
I have a team to read.
Sorry,
and
buddy. I got to wait for the Cavs to come to town.
Tom Brady talking about the Bucs' effort next. First things first.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.